beats are the purest. Roll it. These beats are the purest. Roll it.
Sorry about that. Welcome everyone to episode 4 of the Smelly GOON1Es podcast. I'm joined here with Booney, RiddleDog, and MVP candidate for the Zealous Zenus, Nqthyn. Also just won grand finals of season 4. So how's everyone doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm on vacation, man. Got the aviators on, got the Hawaiian shirts. We're celebrating the off season, right? You know?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nqthyn is rocking the classic hoodie and the scruffy black hair, all standing outside under the clouds.
Yeah,
That's actually a live feed right now, guys.
Yeah, I'm viewing those, so that's why I'm not opening my mouth or anything.
So welcome to your don't do the mewing face. Welcome to the first episode. I guess the first episode that you're in. Your debut. That's the word I'm looking for. Your debut on the Smelly GOON1Es. So how does it feel being a two-time? Well, I guess Booney too. Being a two-time, and I think Booney, that was your third.
No, it's Nathan's third.
Is your second?
Nathan's third, Booney's second.
Nathan's third, my
yeah.
second.
How does it feel getting a shiny new ring in the trophy case?
No, it feels great. It was a really fun season. Really glad Randy ended up drafting me. It was a lot of fun. Wouldn't have rather been on another team,
Yeah.
obviously.
What were your guys like? How hype were you guys after that? Were you guys like doing a lot of shouting and a lot of?
Yeah, it was a lot of shouting, a lot of hype, just as you would imagine, because we had some rough spots in the season, but when it came down to it, we finally got the dub, so it was good.
Yeah.
Circuit Royale, man. I don't think I've ever been in a more electric team environment than
Yeah.
watching Corey Wales whip out the Widowmaker out of nowhere.
Speaking of Corey, is it hype to be reunited with your duo from last season, Booney?
I mean, it was good. Some redemption, I suppose, a little bit from last season. Guinea Pigs did struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
But we came back and able to bring home the championships. That was fun. It was a good night at the house. We whipped out beers and alcohol and celebrated a little bit
Nice.
after the game was over. But all in all, it was a very good season. I was happy. The biggest curse actually is not me and Corey, but actually me and Nathan from the Newts.
Oh, I forgot about the Newts.
So that is the greater redemption, honestly, and the fact that we actually won a game together. It broke in the bowl game last season because he rang for the Guinea Pigs when we won our bowl game. So that broke the curse. Then the Zenith was basically the culmination of the good luck coming back.
And I think that was one that a lot of people weren't picking you guys to win too. The finals. I know it was like what 2 of the 6 Preds were Numbies.
I got Zenith. I was Zenith believer.
I was also Zenith.
It was me and GMD as Zenith.
And GMD literally picked us. He hasn't watched a single game all year. He just picked us because he knew what Randy's name.
He nailed the scoreline too. He nailed the 4-2.
He did.
So
he had the golden Pred.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, the Numbies had a great year. They're undefeated, but I mean, I was surprised it was so lopsided towards the way the Numbies, not because of how they did in the regular season, because of how they did play in the postseason. They were going to Mat 5 and a bunch of games that they probably shouldn't have gone to. So that's kind of why I was surprised I was so heavily in favor of them. But I mean, they played a hell of a game. It was a very tight 6-mapper. So they played probably their best playoff series in the finals. But
and so I think now that we talked about the end of season, let's jump back to the preseason and look at some of our preseason Preds from season 4. Starting at they only did the top 5 when they ranked it. So 5th was, I don't actually have this written down. I probably should have prepared this better. No, I think they only did the top 3 actually. So 3rd was the Numbies, which I think was a pretty good Pred. I mean, just looking at the roster,
close.
Yeah.
Like looking at the roster, Kevin and Sidon coming off of their grand finals appearance season 3. Jack we know is a very talented support player. He's playing a lot more support for the tardigrades at the end of last season, so very comfortable in that role. Dyer is like kind of that unknown rookie. Played very well. He won Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah,
that'd be correct. Yeah,
very deserved in my opinion. So that I think that aged very well. Number 2 was the Zeniths, so that also aged really well. I mean, I think people were just coming out of the draft, and it like everyone had Zeniths at least in their top 3. A lot of people had them as number 1, so I think that I felt pretty good about the Zeniths being that high.
Yeah,
I mean, it's tough to bet against Nathan, Frosty, and Akua. Yeah, people were like, "Oh, Corey on DPS is not going to work," but it didn't really matter because you had those 3 superstars, so it doesn't, matter too much in the end.
I didn't realize that they would be making, was it 3 trades? Because they had 2 trades.
Yeah, they made 2 post draft, then 1 in the season.
Yeah,
1 mid season.
But like that ended up working really well. Saving Kath as a draft capital to get Booney. I think if we saw Booney coming out of the Booney for Kath, if we saw that switch in the preseason, I think they still probably would have been pretty high. But yeah, I think that's aged pretty well. Like, I mean, going back to season 2 and season 3, there was always like a couple of them that were just so like out of left field compared to how the season ended. So I'm surprised those 2 aged really well. And then the number one ranked preseason team is the Richu Raccoons.
Put them into dumpster.
They looked really good until they made a Twitter. I think that's really
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Made an X.
Before the Twitter, this was very accurate. They're
Yeah.
undefeated before the Twitter. Then once the hashtag dropped, then it was all over.
I mean, that still is it still is a really good roster. It just I guess didn't click, or like maybe they got solved, or the meta just shifted a little bit. But they also made
Yeah,
a Twitter, so
I can't even like answer what happened to
Yeah.
them. I mean, I think they just started playing like harder matches because that was a thing that we
Yeah,
looked at
yeah.
beginning of the season. They were playing kind of the lower echelon in terms of where teams finished, but it's still a pretty solid roster. So the fact it exploded like that is surprising. But
Yeah.
I brought up our power rankings, our specific Smelly GOON1Es power rankings.
Oh, that was the. Let
Oh.
me actually pull that up. Oh, you have it right there too.
Uh,
'Cause
I
that's
got
the
'em, I got
official.
'em.
That's the official power rankings that we had.
So
Let me
I'll
go real
go
quick.
I'll go from the top down. Our first team, we also had the Raccoons in first. Yippee! And then we had the Numbies and Zenus following up, and the Vancouver Villains actually made our fourth
Let's
spot,
go.
which I don't think aged too poorly. I think
Yeah.
that the Villains honestly like, in their matches looked really good.
Yeah.
It didn't show in the standings very much because they lost a lot of close map fives
Yeah.
to
I
the
mean,
topper teams. But
they also started out slow, and then they got a lot more momentum.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is why
I don't even
that's
think
why
they
they beat
started
the
off
Turks.
slow, because I remember the first. I think it was the first match of the season was them versus the Gatos, and they took it to map
they
5.
went to
So
5, yeah.
I think
Mhm.
part
Our
of them
fifth
is their schedule was really tough. I think if they had an easier schedule, they would have done a lot better. So
Mhm.
Yeah, our fifth team was the Chinchillas. We were a little off.
I
We were a
remember
little high on the coconut. Our
I
sixth team was
remember
the Gatos. We were very close. We were like we should if we could put these two teams over each other, we would. Was what we were trying to argue, but yeah, that didn't work out.
Mhm.
The Inazuma we had in seventh
that's rough.
also didn't work out that well. The one we definitely messed up on was the Brawlers in
Yeah.
eighth.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that when
definitely.
people initially saw the Brawlers, they're like, oh, I don't know, it's just the chimps again. EJ's on off roll. How's it gonna look?
Yeah,
It looked
EJ and Booker on off rolls.
But then we forgot
looked way
about
better than
Elko.
expected. And we forgot about
MVP Elko showed up.
Honestly, our bottom four though, we kind of pogged out. We had the Foxes, the Turrets, Imposters. The Dongers were low, but we put them in D for Dongers.
I mean, Foxes
so I
also
don't
did
know.
pretty good in the regular season.
Yeah. They're also a team that seemed like they started out slow. People didn't
Yeah.
believe in them. And like they weren't getting results, and then they started doing a lot better, and they just improved.
I think if the season was
Improving,
longer, they would
improving.
have done a lot better too. Because I know they were having questions about their roster. They had like Drew on tank at some point. They were switching Fedora between DPS and support.
The Foxes, yeah.
The Foxes, yeah. So I think if they had a little bit more time, they could have figured that out, and they would have been really scary.
And hey, Turrets went to Map 5 against the Numbies, so
Yeah, I think Turrets actually might have been the best team in the season.
I think when we look at this season all in all, I think a lot of teams were really competitive. Like despite the way records might have fallen or
Yeah,
whatever, I think
yeah.
a lot of games were really close, which was a lot better than the previous year.
Yeah, like the previous year, you had those like echelons where it was like the really good teams and the mid teams and the bad teams. But I think this season, like, it is much more like I think there is still a hierarchy, but it's a lot more like fuzzy in between each of the ranks. So I think across the board, it's kind of a lot more fluid, I guess.
I guess now that we kind of talked about the power rankings, we can look a little bit like surprising teams if you wanted to. And I want to start with it's been a while since we heard from our guests. So, Nathan, what's the most surprising team for you this season? Not based on our power rankings or anything else, but just your initial understanding of how things were going to go or what you thought after the auction was done.
Yeah. Well, in my preseason rankings, I had the Gatos in C tier, because I thought, I mean, they were just kind of lopsided. Like they had all their SR on, like,
Yeah.
on tank and DPS, so I wasn't sure if that was going to work out. But then they made the trade for Teddy M on the flex fort, and so I really think that trade really helped them a lot. I honestly thought Teddy M was going to win MVP because for Platt, like he was really crazy on the Kiriko.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my biggest surprise for sure.
Yeah, it also helped that he was able to. He was very flexible. He was willing to play a lot of stuff, just depending on what comp we were running. Kiriko obviously is a really good one considering how much Junker Queen the Gatos ran.
Yeah.
But he's like a very good team player. Very what's the word? Positive, I guess. Never really got tilted.
Mhm.
So I really enjoyed
He-
playing with him. I'd never played with him before, so it's a good experience.
Yeah, he also hits a lot of headshots on
Yeah,
Kiriko.
yeah.
Seeing the clips and highlights of hitting triple dinks and just deleting kids.
Building his ult
so,
really quickly too. So
yeah, for sure.
what about you,
Hey,
Riddle?
Riddle.
Let's just go down the list.
Who do I think? I mean, the easy answer is the brawlers for me. Like I was saying in the award show, where they got most improved as a team. They, I don't think many people expected them to be like just super like high echelon compared to the rest of the team. Just looking at the lineup, because you had those people on their off roles, and because the SR that they were at the time. Like I remember, I think EJ was plat or something, plat or diamond on tank, and we gave him less budget than Fruitles, who was like higher than him on that role. But it was because we knew that EJ was going to be a lot better than that SR let on, because he's a main support player and he was GM, and he was also like was able to play flex support a lot of the time too. So it was, I think a lot of people just didn't believe in that. They didn't know how well it'd work, but they're able to get it together really quick,
Yeah.
it seemed. So like I think I remember we were playing them, Booney, on the Chinchillas when you were still on there, and then it was like the most coordinated team I think I've ever went against in like Go Fortune Aurora that I can remember. Like they would.
Yeah.
I remember specifically on Hollywood Third. You're on high ground. Nuttier, he was like up there looking for an aggro boop to try to start something, open something up. He booped you down, and then I saw everyone come from each side, and immediately came like a. At that moment, I knew that we'd lost. Like we couldn't do anything against them with like how they were doing stuff like that. So, I mean, it it was rough, but they definitely exceeded my expectations.
I mean, they took it to the Zeniths too. They beat us 3-1, and it was not close.
Yeah.
That we won one map on Legion Tower, I think, and that's just because Legion Tower is a little. We got the good roles. We got like Night Market and Gardens, so we got to play the non Rhine Brawl sim maps. But yeah, once we got to the other three maps, it was just domination. So
Yeah.
we're
Sorry, go. You
no,
can.
I was just saying we're happy that they got eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh
We
yeah,
didn't
we're so
we didn't have to
happy.
face them.
Yeah, my biggest surprise was we lost Parizo. Like we lost the dive mirror. Like I thought,
Oh yeah.
with Frosty on Ana and me on my best character Winston and Randy and me like coordinating dives, like we'd just destroy everybody in dive, but we actually lost to them. Like, and they're the brawlers, right? Like they're not divers, but I don't know. I don't. They're Elko was popping off, and EJ wasn't doing too bad on the Winston. Like they were a really good all around team. I'm really glad that the Dongers ended up beating them, honestly.
My sleeper pick for one of the good players on the brawlers that I think doesn't get enough respect, Sonic Ronic. When they were playing that sim, I remember specifically like, when it was against the Zenith, I was watching that game, and their sim like TPs were so coordinated, and just like I'm sure they scrimmed that a lot. It was just really clean, and I don't know if you guys were ready for it either, ready for like the sim to TP on your Ana, but it worked very well. In Sonic, Ronic, I know was very comfortable on sim.
I mean, it definitely came to show that that team has been playing together a lot
Yeah.
in recent seasons too. Like that core of the chimps, the hogs, all that core kind of stuck together. Now they've really brought to. This was the best showing. Like Riddle said, is like the team had threes of coordination, which they did, and it definitely showed. There was never a hair out of place when it came to them either TPing or going out of targets. So they're a scary team. And honestly, if the Dongers didn't take care of them, I would not have been surprised to see them potentially make it all the way to the finals and give the numbers a run for the money.
Who's your most surprising team, Booney?
Honestly, it's the Numbies, honestly, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of question marks going into that team. It's like I thought they'd be like top of B tier when we did initial power rankings. I thought they'd be kind of like a million because I had no idea how good the Kevin DPS was. I didn't know who Dyer was. We didn't, Raspberry's a rookie too. But once they got in the lobby, like they won every single game they played. So it's not the fact that I thought they're going to be bad and they're trying to be good. It's I thought they were going to be slightly above average and trying to be the best team.
Yeah.
In the regular season.
Second
so,
best. Oh, I guess regular season. Yeah.
I mean, are we still going to talk about how Jack got Kevin DPS for 55,000? Are we going to talk about that? Because that is an
No.
absolute travesty, and we should investigate the admin team immediately for that. That should be allowed. Like I don't understand.
I don't know if people like other captains. I don't know exactly what's going on in the captains chat, but my assumption was everyone saw like, I think they had already gotten sight on at that point. Or
They got signed for 420K, and then they got Kevin for
after that.
55.
So I think everyone saw that they had the Numbies had side on, and we're like, we're gonna let them have Kevin. So that's why it didn't really go up as much as it could have. But like even going into the season, he was like listed as like a Widow one trick, but he's still like GM. So I'm surprised that he only went for that much. But I'm assuming part of it was that people didn't want to like try to outbid Jack, considering that he already had side on. And I don't know if anyone else wanted to break up that
Oh,
duo.
but Jack, he had $0
Yeah.
after betting on Sidon. I don't understand. He got away with it, and it built probably one of the better rosters. So it worked out.
There's a Jabba sighting.
Oh, there he is. I was wondering where he was. Hey, bud. Come here.
There he is.
There he comes.
I think my most surprising team that people still don't really talk about, but I think it's crazy that people aren't giving them enough credit is the Dongers. Like I think everyone in their
Oh, yeah, that was
had
gonna
them
be, like,
so
my second.
low, and they ended up being like, I'd say like a top 3 or a top 4 team. There he is.
The boy.
You can keep going. He'll
Yeah,
just be hanging
He's
out.
hanging out. But like when you go into that, especially you see Vin on support, he like signed up as support, and I think people saw that and like didn't know how good he was going to be because everyone knows that his tank is good. I think a lot of people still respect his DPS, but I don't think we've seen him play a lot of support. It's kind of the same thing as the Zeros when they got Typhoon season 3. There's just a lot of question marks, and so everyone had them ranked really low. You look at their DPS line, it's like Rep, Cactus, and Dong. They don't have like a high GM or a mid GM DPS to carry them like a lot of other teams have. But the way that they played is like they ended up playing together really well. Mid season, I think Vin swapped over to tank, and they looked really good.
Who would have thought?
I know, yeah. But I think a lot of the players on the team played really well. I think Caber played really good on tank and on support. Especially considering like last season we didn't really see him play a lot. I don't think he played season 2 at all.
It was not in season 2.
So it's been like a while since we actually got to see Caber play, and he really showed up this season, both on tank and on support. And then Wrecked Cactus playing a lot of Sojourn looked really good. It's like I think a lot of the players that like a lot of people didn't have very high ended up performing really well in the regular season. And then they had best duo, I guess, as Wrecked Cactus and Flambo. I forgot they won the award for best duo.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the Vin tank comp, don't they have like I think everyone is masters and above in that comp, right? Like because Milo climbed to masters
Yes,
and
I think
Caber's
so.
probably masters on sport, and they have Vind on tank. Like that comp was super scary when we had to go against that. I know that was the one map we lost was to that comp. So
The one map you lost.
yeah, I lost.
Yeah.
Then Booney came in and did the work for me.
I need to find the doofus screenshot.
Yeah, he started the Doom diff, and we were chilling at that point.
Despite me trolling in comms on that map too, yeah. Randy still has that clip somewhere. That should never leave the Zenith chat.
So yeah, let's see what else.
Awards.
Awards, yeah. I was trying to remember what was next. Are there any rewards that really surprised you guys, or are there any people that you think deserve to like get some sort of shout out and didn't really have like a good award to fit them very well? Anyone you just want to give a shout out to?
I'll give a shout out to Paige for winning her second commissioner's award. I didn't know she already got it, but
Really?
we gave it to her anyway. So, I mean, I think that I just wanted to shout her out for getting her first win as
Yeah.
being a captain / manager. So
I thought if she didn't win that award, she was gonna win best captain for getting a win. I think
it was
in general, I
it's
think
close.
Paige drafted really well. I think she ran the team pretty well. So I think there were a couple people that I think did really well. Especially like Randy and MJ did really well their first season as captain.
It's not MJ's first.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Well, it's Randy's
I
first.
think War definitely did a lot better than I
War,
expected
yep.
to.
Yeah, War was like in contention for me as like the best
Yeah.
captain
Yeah.
that season because I know some people before had like possible issues where like they were worried that he wouldn't be like fully committed because he wasn't in some of the teams he was prior. But I knew that it's like you, Panini, how you're fully committed all the time, especially as a captain.
Yeah.
You know, like Meteor is sort of. So I knew War was gonna be like that too, because of how much he wanted to be a captain
Yeah.
and everything. So, and I mean, he exceeded my expectations at least. And I mean, I got to ring for them one time. I think it was for Esrath against the Turrets, and that went well. It was fun seeing how the team ran. So
I think War's also another one of those really big PMA guys. He will, like, if your team is starting to get boomed or tilted, he'll always bring you back in. He's very vocal, very hype. So I'm sure, like,
Yeah.
when he was playing in the games, he was probably bringing a lot of energy to his team.
I'll
Yeah,
also say that the biggest upset was for best broadcaster didn't go to the law. That's only because he
Oh,
did,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
one game.
I think I
But
remember seeing.
I hope he comes back.
I think he's gonna
Hope he
try to
comes
do
back
more
next
next season. I think I think I was looking at the producer or broadcasters earlier, and there's a lot of people that are either going to try to start casting or they're going to try to get back into it.
Whalefish, I know, is a name that's
Whalefish
going to
is a
come
big
up
one.
here.
I think that would be.
Could you
really
imagine
fun.
the Law and Whalefish cast? Oh my
Yeah.
lord!
I think the Law maybe only did one or two this season, but I think both that he casted were I think he did very good, especially considering how new he is to it. So.
Especially since now, hint, chat, production might be fully automated coming next season, so hopefully it's a lot easier to get into the broadcasting.
Yeah.
Smile, but that's not for you guys to know yet.
GG, he's leaking everything.
interesting.
GG.
Let's
GG.
see. Shapeshifter Ward, I thought, could have gone to a lot of people. I think there were a lot of people that played really well on off rolls.
Yeah.
The brawlers.
But I mean, Skycer played every off.
yeah,
roll.
like I
So-
feel like seeing that, I was like, you have to give it to Skycer, but I think there's a couple of other people that I think should get some shout outs for how well they played on off rolls.
My other one
think-
was
yeah.
Nathan.
What?
My other one was Nathan
Oh yeah.
on support.
Mhm.
I mean, everyone's been saying this all season, but like Poke and EJ off rolling.
Of course.
I think we initially had shapeshifters on the brawlers, but we kind of, as an admin team, discussed and we're like, we should just give them almost improved
Yeah.
rather than shapeshifter. Because
Which-
honestly, you know,
that's
the
fair,
shapeshifter would
yeah.
have applied to EJ and Poke, but the entire team improved, so I think we decided to give them that instead. We didn't want to give the Berlin Brawlers all the awards, so we kind of.
Yeah. I think we just talked about him with Teddy M also playing on support. I think he might have
Yeah.
has he won Shapeshifter before? Didn't the Washington Overwatch team as a team win Shapeshifter season 2?
Let's
Yeah,
see.
I know.
He won
Teddy
shapeshifter in
played
season
really
2.
well.
Yeah,
He won
it.
shapeshifter in season 2. Yeah.
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 Let's see what are other awards that I think. I think the biggest upset for the awards is Randy WTF winning best clip. I thought it was either going to be the
I'm also gonna cut you off for a sec. I do want to say that people don't think we're reading chat, but Sidon, you like men, so sex with men, thumbs up, chat. Anyway, continue.
I think the Sidon on Circuit Royale where he got like a 4K, and I don't remember exactly what Typhoon said, but he said something really silly. I think that was a pretty good clip. I also think another really good clip was Booney drawing the Vancouver Villains logo on Casero. I don't know.
And then forgetting like a whole point of the game.
Like you're like, oh wait, the game, because I think you had your game audio off or something, right?
I had the game audio turned off,
Yeah.
because
So-
it was just really loud, and I wanted to focus on the game, on my
Focus on the
drawing. man.
Yeah. We should
I
have
wanted
like
to
a
zoom.
we should have like a drawing stream at some point. like Booney draws.
Boone ESPN.
You never know.
No way.
He's so quiet about it, and then you say something, and he's like, "Oh, that's the plan."
I
And,
bet there's a content thing. There's like a drawing competition on the forum. You can sign up for it.
there
Make sure you go
was
to-
because I think there was
Yeah.
also a. I'm really excited about that. Whatever those community thing you was it like was it what do you call it, community something? The forum where you're like you can do like we have like game nights and we have.
Yeah, I'll check the wording on that
Yeah.
one.
But I'm really excited for whatever you're calling that. I think just in general, just getting the community more involved, I think is going to be a really healthy thing for the league. Bringing everyone together, like even if you don't play on a team with someone, you still can, play in a. He's so bright.
He's looking at the forum.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited about that.
Hold on, I got the perfect solution. All right, here we go.
That's pretty good.
Oh, there
Yeah,
we go.
okay.
Nice.
That's going on the thumbnail, guys.
Jeopardy, Photoshop challenge, and game night. So
Oh.
yeah, I got a couple of fun stuff planned.
Yeah.
Fucking
I'm
whoa,
trying to
deploying flashbang.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really want to give a specific shout out to. Oh, Rookie of the Year.
What?
There are a couple of really good rookies this season too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had Milo, dynamic.
I personally think that a sleeper for Rookie of the Year was Raspberry. I think Raspberry played really well on the Numbies.
I agree.
And let me think.
I knew
Danny
about
Mac.
a little bit beforehand because he comes from Eats collegiate team.
Yeah.
So at least beforehand, he would only for that team he'd only either play Lifeweaver or Moira,
Yeah.
and that was it.
I remember they were playing a lot of Lifeweaver Mercy in the
Yeah,
the
and
Numbies.
I remember seeing his gameplay before and like helping like VOD review him, like light VOD review him just a little bit, mainly with Eats collegiate team, and it was interesting to see how they improved. So
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of lower SR players that like play really well for their SR that just don't get enough shout outs, So I think we got to give love to the like plat diamond players, since there's not. I think there was a big discussion in the feedback.
No, this league is for only high SR players to have fun. No, if you are below 3600, leave immediately.
Because like the high SR players and even like the mid to high SR players get a lot of those awards, but like I think it's good to shout out like Milo, Raspberry, like all those new fresh people that are. Oh, the Law is another one. I forgot about the Law. I think the Law played really well on the turrets too. MVP candidate.
I think a big reason the match against the Nummies went so close is because of the Law. Like he made a lot of good plays. He had a lot of good beats that like turned fights. So
Law went crazy on that
Law
Map 5 game.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So
I think that's about it for the awards. Like we could go in and break down the all-stars and everything, but that's
it's just popularity contest.
I know,
pretty
yeah.
much. That's all it is.
Another thing coming up soon is the man-on-man. I don't know if we have clearance to share our man-on-man teams or anything like that, but
They've all been
Yeah.
leaked anyway.
I know.
They
Yeah.
all had posted posters and whatever.
I think the War team hasn't been leaked, and I think the Booney team.
We haven't
hasn't
come up
been
with a
leaked.
name.
You don't need a name.
We want a name.
Yeah.
We haven't come up with one.
Oh, we have a name.
I think officially it's gonna be it's just gonna be whoever the captain, whoever signed up, and then it's gonna be like their team. Yeah.
Officially.
Do you guys want to do like power rankings for it?
We
What?
can. For the man on man.
So here,
I don't
I
fucking know. I don't
pull it
know.
up
My
in
team's
Paint.
the worst.
I don't know about
What?
that. So
I think so.
here, I'm trying to decide if I should pull up like a little paint thing and have the list of everything, or if you just want to talk about it.
Oh, I'm excited. It's a. I don't know if we can do power rankings or anything, but I'm excited for it. It brings back a Pugs classic for all you newbies who weren't around for when my glasses were this thick and I started the man on man back in Pugs back in the day.
Are there? I
But
don't.
it's good to have him back.
I don't know exactly when the signups close, but last I heard, I think there's 5 teams.
Yeah.
I guess there could
Yeah.
be more signups if they haven't closed yet, but I think that's going to be really good because I think that's a good healthy amount where it is small enough that it can be done relatively quickly. Like it can be done over a weekend, but it also is
Mhm.
like big enough so I think there's going to be a good amount of parity. Like it's not going to be just like 2 teams or 3 teams. I think having 5 or 6 teams if there's another sign up gives it a good. You get a lot of games against each other. I think that's going to be really exciting. I think the banning, what is it, Xin, Pharah, Echo is going to be really fun.
It's
Because
interesting.
those are, and then all tanks except for Ryan. I forgot about that too. That's going to be really interesting because those are some of the worst people to play
I'm
against,
so
'cause-
back. I'm so
yeah,
back.
Yeah. No Doomfist, no Ball. You look at
I'm
your-
not back. It's Jover.
No
My team-
Orisa, no Ramatra.
I can't play Ramatra. No. Ooh, how will I do
Um,
this?
Sin says only manly tanks. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like
So-
I'm trying so hard to bring back pugs, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I would love
Rough,
for there to
I'm not
be
sure.
like, because someone said bring back weekly pugs. Oh, Flambeau said bring back weekly pugs. I'd love for that to happen, but I don't think it will. But I do think having those little community events is going to be a really good way to get other people involved. Have little game nights or something like that.
It does also lead into what we're trying as an admin team in the future here. We are going to try to do more like monthly tournaments
Oh yeah,
on top of
Or
the
smaller
Overwatch
stuff.
Clash. So yeah, it would be like the man-on-man tournament. This is a really good. It gives us a good basis to figure out what we might be expecting when we do stuff like this in the future. So I
And-
want to give a shout out to Poke for taking the initiative and doing this kind of on his own power.
Yeah.
Before the admins really stepped in. So
I know he's been talking about trying to get more community involvement for a while now. So I'm glad he's starting to get stuff going, get stuff moving here. But I also know that I was really bummed out because right when I joined is when they stopped doing what was it, the All-Star games, and I was like, I really want to play in like an All-Star game or something like that. But I think having stuff like that would be like really good for those like events, is like having like a Widowmaker 1v1 or having a Ball or Lucio racing, something like that, or the 12 hogs one hole. I think doing some.
I said the best ever All-Star event was the anime team picture comp. I think that was still the best.
Yeah, I think just doing
event
stuff
we've
like
ever had.
that. If we do those like not weekly, monthly, or do some sort of occasional events like that, I think that could be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Low. There we go.
Anyway, I think that kind of covers man on man for what we got.
Yeah.
In the
So
next podcast episode will probably be done, so we can talk
Yeah,
about the tournament.
probably
then,
break it
but, I
down a
mean,
little bit more, but
yeah, I mean, so if you don't know the 5 Reinhardts that we have, so it's Booney, it's Poke, it's EJ, it's Yoda, and then it's Goku. Those are the
The
5 that
goat.
we have.
The goat.
So
yeah.
Goku
Stay
2K.
tuned. Yep, stay tuned to see who takes that. I think that's next weekend. A week from now, basically.
And also, all I can confirm is that Nqthyn was scared to play in the man-on-man tournament as Reinhardt, so he's swapping roles.
I
Yeah.
asked Nathan. I'm talking to Nightmare Unit Chat. I'm like, does anyone want to join here? So we have Anmal on the as a sub because he's usually busy, but we also have Nathan. I'm like, okay, Nathan, what do you want to play? It's like anything but Ryan. I'm like, all right, I'll send that War's way.
He is terrified.
I still have nightmares to this day about the honey bunches of ox when I played one and I got diffed every single time. So I'm good on that, honestly.
I think a lot of
Uh,
players from that team have nightmares still.
I think when my team
Maybe true.
plays the Goku team, I think one map I should be allowed to play Ryan against War.
That could be funny.
Bring it up with the man-on-man admins. The manmans.
What are they gonna do about it? If it's under SR, they can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you sign up for it,
Yeah,
it's fine.
I
like
always
the
sign up for
roles.
everything, but
Yeah, exactly. So it should be fine as long as War says it.
yeah, we'll see. So another thing that just came up recently is the season 5 signups.
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys also. There's been some discussion about the new rule changes. I think was it earlier today that the new duo changes dropped.
Yeah.
Um,
It was. I mean, so it was funny because it was more like a misunderstanding. We didn't realize that there's like a difference between like, I think it was like, we just didn't know which one we wanted to do. We didn't really talk about it, so we had to actually vote on it because we're like, oh wait, we still have to do that. We didn't like decide on it.
So do you want to give a general breakdown of like the new rules? Because I think there's a decent amount of new rules. None of them are like game breaking, but there's a pretty good.
Yeah, I
amount of
mean,
them.
let's see. So
I can give a TLDR on a lot of stuff.
And then
yeah, I
and
can
then
too. I was talking to
also,
Smelly
like,
about it at work.
if there's anything specific that you think gave your team trouble kind of trying to decide, you should like give us a little inside peek in what the admins were saying and like the discussions you guys were having.
I can give a TLDR riddle, and you can give more detail if they want follow up.
Okay.
So yeah, SR Cat, we we thought about this because initially when the free seasons have been going on ever since GoForward Season 0, it's been the SR average of the league plus 100 or 150 SR. Now we're going to decrease it a little bit to hopefully emphasize, off-rolling flexibility as well as not just swapping out the lower player every time for maps to, and it's not to be like we move that burden onto Masters players from the gold players. It's just we give the option of let's try something different this week. That's kind of the main thing we're going for. We're gonna give it a look, and if it kind of has the thing or it gives the impressions, or I can't think of the word. It gives the results we want to see. We'll look more in the future. If it doesn't, then we'll make some changes back. But map order, we just basically moved Flashpoint Push around to not be the first and the fifth map. It's back to being Koth number 1, and then that way Flashpoint Push can be 3 and 5. I'll leave the ringer stuff to Riddle because that's kind of a big one. Free agents, we just removed them because there haven't been any free agents recently, and they've always caused problems. So if you want to play, come in before the season starts, and if not, you gotta wait your turn. We added the Paninii clause to the scrims. If a team asks for them to not spectate a scrim, they can be removed. That's really about it. Duo changes, we'll talk about that one as well. Mandatory playtime, it's just a change for the basically grand finals because we had a situation where it's unclear. In the last grand finals, we went to map 6. Does Sun have to play in map 5 here? But we just kind of put a clarification in the rule. The numbers didn't break any rules, but we just wanted to make sure that was clarified in the future. We added basically if we think you're trolling on your signups, we can talk about you and we can get more information, get more details, and we can act on it if we see fit. And match scheduling, kind of the same thing as that. If you need an extension, just contact an admin. We can give that to you. So I'll let Real kind of go more in depth onto the big ones, which everybody gets mad at every season, is the ringer changes, as well as the duo changes. I think those are kind of the 2 ones that we want some clarification on.
I mean the ringer thing isn't that bad. It's like once every season, once every couple or something.
It's kind of like once a season now.
Yeah, but there's like that game where not a lot of players are able to show up for when the game is scheduled, so it's basically a ringer team. That game last season being the turrets versus imposters. Last game of the season, whoever won went into playoffs. Playoffs are literally on the line. Whoever wins goes into playoffs, and
so they face the RiddleDog. It's unfortunate for them.
The ringer dog. Yeah. I had to sub in for Flawless, and the turrets, we were able to beat the imposters 3-2 there, and then that brought the turrets into playoffs, but it sucks because that's less than half the team. Technically, for map 1, there were 4 ringers on the field because Muffin and the Law was on the rotating disc, just going around and around. It was me for Flawless, Sonic for Negative Marvin, Skyster for Fish, and then EJ for Rusty. Rusty showed up after a map, but it sucks to have to play against just a ringer team.
Yeah.
It's not the exact same type of team. Like, you're prepping for these certain people, and then they just don't show up. So we're making it so you can only field a max of 3 ringers. So if there's 4 or more, then the game will have to be forfeit, or just have to be rescheduled. Yeah. Most likely the latter, where it's like admin's gonna step in, like, see what's going on, try to find a time better to reschedule it. So it's not too bad. I mean, that's the only ringer change this season, is that like you just can't have more than 3. And then duo, here you go.
I think the ringer change is a really good one. I know a lot of other leagues do that. I remember hearing from the imposters, specifically Fruitals, they were very
They were not happy, which
yeah. That's
I
what.
can see that.
Do you still talk to Fruitals Riddle, or has he cut you off
Yeah.
completely?
No,
Is he
yes.
that
yeah,
bad?
yeah, the RiddleDog situation has destroyed
I was
friendships.
talking to him, and he was like, "That's probably the best game I've ever seen RiddleDog play in his life."
I agree. It's the best DPS showing I think I've had.
We will never see it again.
And it wasn't on my normal setup here. It was at Left Click Lounge on completely
Oh,
different
man.
specs, and I had half my DPI by accident.
And then I feel like a couple seasons ago, you rang for Roar on the Junkyard Dogs playing Junkrat, and I feel like I also
Roar.
remember that. What did I say?
Yeah, ROR.
Yeah,
Roar.
I think.
And did he beat the tardigrades Paninii, or did he beat a really good
No, it was
team?
the
I know.
mice. It
The
was
mice. Okay.
Yeah,
We beat the mice.
that was right before I joined. So, but I remember I think I casted that game, and I was like, I really wanted to give him the match MVP.
Player of the
even though he
match,
didn't play on
yeah.
the team.
You still interviewed me though.
Oh, did I?
So-
Well,
Yeah, you gave it to someone else, but you're like, we want to interview RiddleDog,
Yeah.
so we'll interview him. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. The ringer changes; it's gonna be fine. It's nothing like controversial, really. It's just like it's good that it's in place now. But the duo, it's the same thing where the max average for the duo rank between the players is it cannot be above 3,900, and but the big thing is that it's the highest peak rank from last season, which was before all the competitive rework, and then the SR from the roles you signed up on is what matters,
yeah.
really. So if I didn't sign up for support this season, and I wanted to duo with someone, it wouldn't matter that last season I was GM2. It just matters that I was Masters, I think, 3 on tank.
Yeah.
And that's going to be used in the calculation itself. So that's mainly the thing. It's like what really sucks, like what I would want to do, it's like it's not easy to do, where I feel like that's fine to do, like the roles you sign up on is the only thing that matters. I think that is good if they play the role. If the SR is accurate, you know what I mean? Like if I hard grinded if I hard grinded tank and it was just stuck at Masters 3, that was like the highest I'd get, and it'd be fine to use that for the calculation because it'd be accurate.
Yeah.
But if I like didn't play tank at all, and it was like lower than it should be, then it sucks.
Yeah.
Which also
So-
makes you wonder if something like that should be, we take an average of the one you signed up on, but didn't get enough games, and then your actual main role SR. You take kind of the middle ground of between those two, but that could be something we look at,
It's just
after this.
I think the most likely and probably the best outcome of that is if there are any issues that come up, I think it should just be like a case by case basis, and then just start off like treat it like good faith. It's like if you think there's anything that's a little sketchy or a little sussy, the admins can always go in and look further into it. I brought up 7-7 because it's just so distinct. His DPS is so
I mean,
high.
is it gold on tank or something, or
It
did
was.
He's climbed.
He was.
But like the fact, like Riddle was saying, is that he didn't play
It's
any
because
tank.
he didn't
and
play
then
it.
This season he started playing tank and he went from gold to masters. So like, if he signed up, if it was like using that rule and he signed up as like a gold tank, and then like right after that got masters, like that brings up a question of like, the admins will probably be able to see it pretty clearly when it does happen, if it does happen. I think the best outcome is if they do see that is just be like make it a requirement, like, oh, you have to play like X amount of games on whatever role you sign up with, just to kind of like get the
But I mean, it's about last season's SR.
Oh, you're right.
We can't do anything about that anymore.
Yeah.
So
hopefully it doesn't come up, I think, is the
yeah, that's basically where we're
That's
at.
every single admin rule we've ever made ever. Hopefully it doesn't come up.
and it always does.
Because if it does, then feedback explodes. We have 800 messages to read, and it all comes down to me just typing a 5-paragraph essay and saying no, stop talking, and then we move on with our lives.
And then make a thread and
Yeah,
So
we're
So I don't know. We're going off last season's SR now. So the last season's SR is only used to determine duo eligibility. This season's SR is still using calculations.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think that kind of covers season
I think
5
so.
rule changes.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's a ton that are going to be like any game breaking new rules, but I think there's a lot of like quality of life, I guess, changes.
Yeah.
Make it like run a little bit more smoothly.
Yeah.
Sent
So-
asks who our captain's going to be.
Great question. You'll figure out when everybody else does.
Well, if you
Yeah.
sign up
Same thing as every year, Centurion.
if you
There's
sign
already
up
5.
as captain, you can get a little head start.
True.
So maybe we should get
Your
a
time
sent
has
captain.
come.
But
You've been in here for long enough. You have to.
I think sent would be a
You
good
have to do your
captain.
time.
Well, he's always there. He
So-
always shows up.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot
I mean,
of scouting.
we already have 5 captains / managers locked in already.
Yeah.
So
I don't know exactly how many you're gonna go for, but I think like
depends on signups.
it's probably gonna
That's
be
how it
around
always
like
is.
12. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that about does it.
I like Flambeau's idea. Everybody gets set to plat 5, and you go up and down based on your win percentage in the league.
Do you like that?
You get a Aurora SR,
Was
yeah.
was it Roar that was doing all those like team calculations, or it was like the team SR?
Yeah,
based
the
on-
elo.
I really like that. I think he mentioned he was trying to do that with players too.
I think so.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we jump into write that down?
I've got nothing.
Okay.
I don't really.
So, or are we each gonna get 2? Or
We
getting
got
one?
to go over what we've done already. We got to go over last week's. Write that down because everything
I wasn't here last
came
week,
out-
so
you gave us
You-
2 write that downs though, so everything came
Oh.
off the board. That every prediction we've ever had has come off the board so far.
yeah.
So we'll start with me. So I had the Chinchillas would not go winless. Now I didn't specify in the regular season they won their bowl game.
No.
So
That counts. That counts.
that's correct. I also said the Imposters will only win one more game from that point on in the season and miss the playoffs. They did not win a game after that. So let's see. On the RiddleDog, he had the Chinchillas will make it into the playoffs, and Vin would win MVP of the season.
I was close. It was a complete shot in the dark. He got MVP nomination.
Yeah.
So.
It would have been a sweep, yeah, if you got it, but you didn't. So.
Mm-hmm.
Paninii, speaking of our brawlers having lack of faith, that he said brawlers will end the season 0-4 after starting
Yeah.
4-0.
I think
They did not.
I think they did lose their last 3 games.
That's correct, but they
So,
won once.
I was close. I was close.
You also said in the Zenith's first playoff game that with me in it, they lose every map that I played and win every map without me. I went 1-1. As for our guests, War had the villains would beat the Numbies 3-2 in week 8. And that Dyer would win Rookie of the Year. So he got that one correct. Muffin, with 2 absolutely absurd predictions, said a single Hero of the Storm's Pugs will be played by the end of the season. But during playoffs, something will happen and feedback will explode. Admins will get involved.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was, but there was a huge thread of like 400 messages after a
I
game in the playoffs, so he got that one correct.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember messaging him, said, "Is this what you wanted?" He's like, "What?" And I'm like, look at feedback. He's like, "Oh, let's go."
So yeah, the listeners or the guests right now, I should say, are at a solid 50% win percentage. I'm also at 50. RiddleDog, Paninii, you were both incorrect, both at 0%. And now we're going into our second week, or I guess our second instance of write that down. So we always usually start with the guests. I say always as we're 1 for 1, but I know that Nqthyn was kind of thrown into this. So are you ready with a write that down prediction, Nqthyn? Are you ready to give your first one, or should we go to you last?
I got both of them ready.
Holy.
All right, well, we'll start with Nqthyn then. Nqthyn, give us your
good.
first write that down. Riddle, you got this? You writing them down?
Oh, I can't do that. Yeah, hold on just a second.
And Nqthyn, you gotta always say write that down, either at the beginning or the last. So either beginning or the end.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. All right, everyone write this down. I think with the new SR changes, or like the SR cap being lower, like value picks will be really good. So I think Frosty's going for like over 100k. Because he's probably gonna be plat or even gold with the new season or whatever.
All right.
That's a good one. I think that's
That's a
I think
good
that's
one.
bold, and I think that also has a really good chance of being true.
Am I
Mhm.
second? Write that down.
Whoa, whoa,
Write
whoa,
this
whoa!
down.
No.
What?
We go to one,
Alright,
one,
jumping board.
one, and then 1, 1, 1. So
My fault.
you can't steal all of them because we can have the same one and someone else has
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's true.
So since you didn't do it last time, we'll go to Panini next.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I have my team. I'm trying to decide which one I should do first. So I've played in this league for 4 seasons. Each of
Mhm.
those seasons in the regular season, I have finished second overall. So I think season 5, my team will finish second overall in the regular season standings. Write that down.
Um,
All right, and then we'll go off win percentage. So over to Riddle.
percentage now. Okay. Let's see. I'll go something with the man-on-man tournament.
Who?
I I think the next tournament that no, I can just say who the man-on-man who the man-on-man is. I think Poke's team's gonna win man-on-man tournament.
Ooh.
Say the line, Riddle.
Write it down. I'm writing it down.
I didn't
He is
realize
writing it down.
I didn't realize when I made my preds that they're gonna be this soon. So I might make one that's gonna happen sooner. I might add a new one.
Connor, I will not go to the team I want to. Write that down.
I also have one that will go soon and also later. But so I think but the sooner one would
Oh,
probably be
yeah, let's do that.
yes. So now you can do whatever you want. I'm just trying to think of who would try to steal one of these. So I think if I could do the sooner one, it'd probably have a less of a chance of getting stolen. So write this down. No team will go winless in the man-on-man. So every team will at least get 1 win in the man-on-man tournament. I don't think we have a Cats themed team situation.
I
And
do know
or
Warren's
the Hamburg
team.
Goons situation. So
There is a Cats themed team though.
there's a cat themed team, but I think that at least every team will get a win. So now we cycle back to Nathan. So Nathan, you're second. Write that down. Prediction.
All right, everyone, write this down. But Yak's been on like a crazy team every single season, but he's never won. But I think this time he's gonna win. Like, I played against him on like a ringer team. It was like Yak Chloe DPS line. I've never had like a more unplayable game.
God.
I think he's crazy. So I think he's gonna take it home. I think people are sleeping on him a bit.
Didn't he win season 1 though?
Yeah.
Wait, he did?
Yep.
He was on the
Marshmallow
Marshmallow
Monsters.
Monsters.
Oh, he's on the monsters.
Yeah, because his end of season finish I think was like he finished first and then back to back he finished second, and then he lost in the semifinals, so he finished like
so
third,
3/4.
4th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Nathan actually is predicting that we will revoke Yak's season 1 championship, and then he will win the season on the revenge tour.
We're gonna find out there was tampering violations by
Boy,
yeah,
issues.
boy.
Anyway, Panini, you're second. Write that down. Prediction.
So there is I will make one sooner. I think there was one that I was gonna make that's like end of season prediction, but I'll make one sooner. I'll save it for later. I think what's gonna happen and the man on man is, since the finals sounds like it's gonna be Sunday, I think Fancy will be able to show up for the finals and will win the finals. Write that down.
For your team.
Yeah.
So are you doing a parlay that Fancy is present and wins the finals? Or is it just your team wins?
Well, I think him being present is also a big question mark. So I'll do the parlay, and then he shows up, he starts, and then he wins.
Random parlay, like it.
All right. Write this down. I don't think we are going to have to scramble and actually like find people to be captain that didn't sign up for it
Ooh.
originally.
I think that's a hot take.
I don't think so. Last season we didn't have to.
Really?
Nope.
Yeah, we didn't have to last season.
Last season we didn't have to. But I mean, everything's up in the air. A whole bunch of people are already signing up. Let's see. We already have 23 total players, and 5 of them are rookies. as well.
Really?
So
I want to give a shout out to the Twitch chat. Made a Flambo Jamba made a write that down. That's a 4-leg parlay, 5-leg parlay actually. He says
He said he's got to be on the podcast, but I like it. I like his thought process.
yeah.
that, bro, that's just what that's MJ's thing. He says that every team, like if you want to be in the upper echelon, especially, he said you need one of these 4 players in order to do well. And like you see that they keep going to semifinals and do well. It's Chloe, Cal, Randy, and Vin. And he need to get one of those, and he got Vin. So that's like what MJ is saying, the force people of the apocalypse.
Yeah, put Yak on the list. Where's the why are you hating on my man Yak? He's like what 4 in a row? I don't know if he did in Go for Watch League, but
We actually need a Chloe and
His
Cal
first season was
final, so one of them
Northborough.
gets a ring. That's what we need.
yeah, almost had that.
Now
season
that
3.
Randy got his, it's those 2 that are up next.
All right. Booney. Last one.
All right. I've got a 3-leg parlay. So write this down. A below Masters captain / manager will get a top 2 position in their division, will make the grand finals, and lose. Write that down.
Lose in the finals.
Lose in the finals.
Gotcha.
All right.
So they're gonna get top 2, and then they're gonna
Top 2 in their
finish-
division is a.
Oh, in the division. Do we know for a fact
and
there's
if
gonna
we,
be
if we don't
divisions?
if we don't do divisions, we'll change it to be top 4 team.
Okay.
Basically, they're in the
Okay.
top 4.
Gotcha. And then you said an under average SR
Below Masters.
below
Below
Masters
Masters.
F. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think a lot of those are very obtainable.
I think with the lowered SR cap, the below Masters captains and managers are going to have a huge advantage, honestly, this next auction. With their increased budget as well as their more flexible SR, I think they're going to make a pretty stacked team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
fair.
we will see. I'm hoping we can have another episode, either before the draft when the captains are announced, or after the draft, so we can do like a team breakdown again. But
Yeah.
I think that's about it for episode 4 here. Anyone else have anything they'd like to add?
I don't think so. Thank you for
No.
joining us, Nathan.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to be here.
So just about
I mean,
does
I'm
it.
surprised you haven't moved in over an
That's
hour.
true,
That's
yeah.
impressive.
It's the
He's
stabbing
keeping the
challenge.
mewing streak alive, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Maybe,
don't know if I should say it
Say it.
because you broke your edging streak to win the finals.
Oh my
It
god.
went straight to mewing after the edging broke.
Oh my god.
That's a committed man right there.
Real.
With that, I think that just about does it today. Thank everyone for watching. Stay tuned. I believe our man on man is going to be start a week from today. So it's going to be some very good games. Hoping to have another episode within the next few weeks or so. We'll try to give you guys an update, give a little warning a little bit closer when that's happening. But yeah, stay tuned, everyone. Got some good matches coming up soon. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, and what is it you say, Booney? What's your little sign out?
Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your evening, everybody.